Hello and welcome to the Lauren M. Keifer 5K race for 2012. I'm Al Stash, and along with Ted Grodzinski, we are happy to bring you a unique coverage of the 6th annual 5K race in honor of the beautiful Lauren Keifer and a tribute to her memory. The Kiefer family, along with the Lauren Kiefer Memorial Foundation Incorporated, would like to extend their deepest appreciation to everyone who took part in the Remembering Lauren 5K runs and walks throughout the years, and to the friends and families who donated their time and helped fund the foundation. Your generosity has enabled the foundation to donate to many charitable causes such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Parents of Murdered Children, Easter Seals, Aspire, Michael J. Murphy Music Scholarship Fund, the Children's Organ Transplant Association, York Center Food Pantry, Shriners Hospital for Children, Willowbrook High School Senior Scholarships, and local families in need. The Lauren Kiefer Memorial Foundation Incorporated honors Lauren by celebrating her life through helping others. The foundation believes that Lauren is still working from where she is to bring people together. Their work is an extension of Lauren's love. They cultivate a spirit of service and caring by fostering hope and celebrating her life. The Lauren Kiefer Memorial Foundation Incorporated provides funds to local families and nonprofit groups for specific needs and projects, and scholarships to Willowbrook High School seniors. They are inspired and united by the love we share for Lauren and recognize that her spirit lives on through us and the wonderful things done in her memory. Today we have unique coverage in that we're going to be riding ahead of the race throughout. The 5K race, or 3.2 miles, will start out at Ardmore and Reardon in Villa Park and go to Villa Avenue, then on to Washington Street, cutting back on Cornell Avenue to Harrison, back on Ardmore, and then ending on High Ridge on the north end of Willowbrook High School. So let's get started and see what's going to happen here at the race. We are at Reardon Road, just east of Ardmore, and the race has just begun. The pacers are driving up ahead of us, and this being the first time we've ever done a race from the van, we're going to have some issues. We've run down the course twice so far, one just before the race, but this is new to us, and the first thing that the runners are going to experience after we get settled here is a steep incline right at the beginning of the race. They're heading up towards Summit Street, first up past Cornell, but Summit Street, and Summit named aptly because it's the highest point in this area. So they just passed Cornell, and already one of the racers is getting a lead of about 4 or 5 strides, and just behind him are some of the favorites, and we'll pick the favorite right away. That's Pat Reardon, or I'm sorry, that is Pat Nyyork. We'll get that name right. Pat Nyyork is a state finalist in cross country at Willowbrook High School. There you see some of the volunteers, kids on bikes with helmets. They're also helping with the pacing of the race, taking it quite leisurely. They'll have a bunch of uphills and downhills. We just passed Summit there, as you see at the stop sign, and that is the higher point in the race. Already a group of 5 or 6 racers, including Pat Nyyork in the white sleeveless top in the middle of the left of the picture. There we go, a little bit better close-up. Pat is in the white jersey there, and here's a runner number 72 that's well out in front, but already he's starting to slow a bit. So let's see what happens there, but he's got a good start, so he's looking good, but starting to lose the gap that he had at the beginning of the race. Now we're just passing Julia Drive, and we'll meet up with Euclid, Myrtle, and then we'll be turning left on Villa Avenue. The race is a 3.2 mile 5K race, and it begins and ends at Willowbrook High School. This being the 6th year of the Lauren M. Kiefer Foundation Memorial 5K run, and people are walking. Here we are turning left on Villa Avenue, and this will be the longest straightaway of the course, 0.8 miles from Reardon to Washington Street heading north. And once again, we're on an incline, going uphill again. And now you see Pat Nyork is pacing the race. Excellent stride, not a lot of arm motion. Very consistent runner. As you notice, the camera moves around quite a bit. It's the first time we've done this on a back of a van, so we can get this perspective of the race, and we learned quite a bit. We've run the course a couple of times, but we've learned that it's not so easy to hold a camera while running through the streets or driving through the streets and hitting any kind of a bump or manhole cover or anything else like that. So now we're going to another little bit of an incline, and the racers through this 0.8 miles on Villa Avenue will be mostly in the sun. There are a few trees and a few shaded areas. You can see they're moving through a few of them right now, but a lot of the course on Villa Avenue is in the sun. So as they get heated up from the exercise, they'll start to sweat here in this section of the race, and later on you'll see the typical tree-covered canopies that are part of the side streets in Villa Park on Washington and Cornell, which will help out the runners. One of the runners using the lawn sprinkler on the parkway over there. A couple of them take advantage of the cooling effect. The runners have now passed the 1 mile mark. As they head again uphill, they'll be coming up towards Madison Street, and then eventually they'll make their turn on Washington, heading west on the course. See Pat Nyork take a quick look over his left shoulder to see where the race is behind him, and a few of the runners are still keeping pace with Pat. Pat just finished his competition in Illinois State Finals for the Willowbrook High School team. He's now a senior and will be moving on to college. Watching closely over his left shoulder because he can hear the runner behind him, who's doing a good job of keeping pace with Pat. Now we head up again on a incline going up. Water stop for some of the racers. The runner next with Pat asked the girls to just throw it on him. Never mind trying to drink it, just throw it on him. So that's just past Terry Lane now on Villa Avenue, and to the right of the runners is where Sugar Creek Golf Course is, just a block east of Villa Avenue. We'll be coming up to Madison Street momentarily. Now the two runners are first and second, neck and neck, and as you can see, looking behind them, quite a few gaps already in the race after just over 1 mile. Lots of runners well behind, some as far as half a mile back. But that's the nice thing about this race. It doesn't matter if you're the caliber of the racers that we see up front. It's still part of a great cause, and important that everybody participates that can. Whether you run or walk or stroll with your kids in a stroller and cart, doesn't make any difference. It's all for a great cause. So now we passed Madison Street, heading uphill again. You see the steep incline, how far down those folks are behind them. Runners now right in the middle of the street of Villa Avenue. Patrick Nyork again taking a narrow lead, still with a confident stride. Arm motion is very subtle, not flailing away as he runs down the course here, conserving quite a bit of energy. And now we're starting to get into more trees in this area. Villa Park is a designated tree town, so you'll see in a moment quite a few trees on the side streets, especially on Cornell and Harrison Street for a short distance. We apologize for the shaking of the camera, but once again we had to hold the camera out the back of the van while going this course. And here we are turning left on Washington Street. We'll go on Washington for just 4 blocks before getting to Cornell. And we lose sight of the runners as we make that turn. You see some of Villa Park's police officers who have cordoned off the race area. And where there's gaps, they let the traffic go through. But they make sure that the runners can run at their pace and safely throughout the streets of Villa Park. Now you see where the runners are in quite a bit of shade, some gaps of sunshine. But the runner Nyark has now extended his lead to about 10 paces. Still under 2 miles in the course. We'll not get to the 2-mile mark until we turn off of Washington Street and onto Cornell. Just past that intersection is where the 2-mile mark is of this 3.2-mile 5K race for the Lauren M. Kiefer Memorial Foundation. Runners will be recognized for first, second, and third place finishes, both male and female, and they will get prizes for this race. Little section of rumbling there for the van, so it was harder. Patrick gives a salute to one of the explorers on the highway there. Explorers are a group of volunteers from Boy Scouts who are participating in the race coordination along with the Villa Park Police Department. And they direct traffic and make sure that the race is clear for the runners, but allowing the residents who are still using their vehicles throughout the course to get through where there are gaps in the runners. And Patrick has now got almost a quarter block gap between him and the second place runner, and well behind is third and fourth, so this is looking like it was expected. We're now turning left onto Cornell Street, traveling south on Cornell for several blocks. Now on Cornell, and just a few more strides and we'll be at the 2-mile mark. And that's where we are right now. 2 miles into the race, Patrick Nyark from Willowbrook High School has got a commanding lead in this 5K race for Lauren M. Kiefer Foundation. This is the 6th time this race has been run from Willowbrook High School since 2007. And it is run every year in June. There'll be a ceremony after the race, after all the runners are in and the people that walk. That will be held on the front of Willowbrook High School with a balloon release, music, some kids races, and presentations to the winners, both in male and female first, second, and third place finishers. In a little bit we're going to make a jog for the runners to their left, and that will look like it's a wide turn, but it's actually a narrow jog to their left. In essence, it makes Cornell move over one street distance to where Illinois would normally intersect the area here. But as you can see, as the runners go through the race, there's uphills and downhills. It's not flat. So the farther and farther you get into the race, these uphills do make a difference. There, Patrick refuses again the water just after Monroe Street here. Now he's going to be making that left-hand jog once we passed Adams and come over a little bit on Cornell. in the shade now, gaps of shade and sunshine. So he's able to get a cooling effect, as all the runners are, in this section of the race, well into 2.5 miles at this point. The 3-mile mark will be after the race gets on to High Ridge, and that's basically the finishing stretch of the race. 3.2 miles is a 5K race. As you can see now, we're jogging to the runner's left. Patrick Nyark still in good stride. Nice strong stride throughout the race. Can now not see anyone behind him. The runners behind him are well back. And from this perspective, he's all alone in the race. Another uphill climb for him as the street starts to straighten out. We'll come up to Harrison Street, which is where we will turn right, heading towards Ardmore. And then just a short couple of turns before the end of the race. And as you can see, another couple of jumps in the camera. That's due to any little difference in the road surface. Very difficult to hold the camera in both arms while that's happening, so we're doing our best. But sometimes it just goes wild. And here's one of those situations. So now we are turning right on Harrison. It'll be just a short little section of Harrison leading up to Ardmore. Again, Patrick Nyark is all alone in the lead on this uphill climb to Ardmore and the last stretch of the race. He'll be getting to the 3-mile mark of the 3.2 mile section once he turns off of Ardmore onto High Ridge. But certainly now you begin to notice all of the uphill and downhills on these side streets that often we just don't notice. But when you're running or watching a race like this, you certainly do. Now we're coming up to Ardmore, making the left-hand turn. See some more explorers out on Ardmore holding traffic back, and Patrick Nyark will be making another right-hand turn here momentarily onto High Ridge, where he will be finishing the race right in front of Willowbrook High School. And here you see our camera turning onto High Ridge. Quite a few bumps in this section, but Patrick Nyark finishing up the Lauren M. Kiefer 2012 5K race. He'll be coming in just over 16 minutes for the race. See a few folks on the sidelines, volunteers encouraging him. We're giving a little gap here so that we can get out of the way, away from the finish line marker, so he has a clear view of that section and can finish strong. And you see he's starting to speed up a bit. He can see the clock, and maybe he has a goal, and he'll be going to the finish line right now as he passes the finish line there at Willowbrook High School. So Patrick Nyark, the winner of the 2012 Lauren M. Kiefer 5K run, the 6th annual race, and he'll get a chance to relax and watch the rest of the runners come through. So there he is, Patrick Nyark from Willowbrook High School, being congratulated by Coach White. And there you have the race 2012, Patrick Nyark, winner of the 5K.